Welcome everyone to another episode of 10K Movies. I'm Ryan and joined as always by Tom and JD. Fellas, how we doing?
Good evening. How we doing, guys?
Doing great when I can walk.
Not too bad. I know JD, you were saying you got kind of beat up over the weekend. You want to let the people know what happened?
I mean, contact sports will get the best of you. So I was golfing, right? Walking down a hill, foot goes into a hole, just snaps completely sideways. Not broken, at least just high ankle sprain, but not fun.
Oh,
Maybe the
yeah.
first high ankle sprain from golf that I've
No. Remember
heard.
Tony
Has that happened?
Finau? Remember Tony
geez.
Finau?
Oh yeah.
He like snapped that thing
Yeah, he was in a
with the
boot or something for a
Masters.
while. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was.
that.
Yeah, it was like a practice round or whatever, like the par 3 challenge or whatever, and he was like jumping for joy, and it was just like boom.
Yeah.
It was gross. It was gross. Which
Yeah,
at the time, I hate to say it, I thought that was pretty funny, but then when I watched
because
Full Swing, I realized he's literally like a saint, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh
he's like the
fuck.
nicest guy ever.
That sucks.
did he hit a hole in one on like the par 3 the day
Yes,
before?
that's
Is that what it was?
yes. He was
Yeah.
he was just like jumping for joy and then snapped it.
In like
So-
2017 or 2018, Dustin Johnson's got hurt the day before the Masters started or something.
I think
But
that was
he just like
2017.
Fell down the
yeah, but
stairs.
yeah, he just fell
apparently.
down some stairs.
Yeah.
Like wearing socks and like
Yeah.
going down the stairs with
Just wax
socks
the
on.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cleaning lady just came.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
Hate to see that really.
I mean, I will say,
Yeah.
I mean, that is probably at our stage in life, probably the most contact sport that we can play at this point. So
About the most I get into.
Yeah.
Play
I
basketball
mean,
like twice a year these days.
yeah. I don't even do that. That is true. Like at our age, it's kind of crazy. Like biggest ways to get hurt are like moving furniture and like getting in and out of the shower.
yeah,
Like that's a good way
dangerous.
that's a good way to get hurt nowadays.
It is, yeah.
That's when you cross the threshold from like young to holy shit, I am old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
getting life alert.
Yeah.
Honestly.
On standby.
Dude. I mean, I don't even want to talk about the drinking anymore. Good
No.
God. That puts me on the couple beers. I'm on the 10-day IL.
That's true.
Call off
Call-
work for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're calling up the young guns to fill in for you at the next party.
Yeah, literally. I'm about to retire.
Get a taxi squad ready to go.
Yeah, I'll take a week off of work. I need 2 weeks off to recuperate. So,
Yeah.
yeah, past my prime. Sounds like we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Definitely.
way. Oh,
But yeah, those who have been listening to us for a little bit now,
Thank you.
thank you first and foremost. But we had a movie to watch last time we recorded, which was Dunkirk, another Nolan movie following up from Oppenheimer, which was our last recording. So gonna be talking about that, but since it's I guess kind of another war movie off of Oppenheimer, but we're gonna do another draft since it's been a little bit since we've done one of those. So this one is gonna be just I guess a war draft, we're calling it. So gonna have 4 categories. It's gonna be favorite or best, however you want to interpret it, war movie, and then favorite scene from any of them, then character as well, and then weapon. And that's really like Pandora's box there. You can kind of go wherever you want there. So let's pull up the draft board here. All right, so I guess I go first, I guess, since it was my pick. Is that how we're doing it?
I'd say that works, yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So again, like you can do the categories at any time. So it doesn't have to be in the same order. This one's tough because I'm trying to just pick what I think might not get back to me. I'm a little worried about 2 of them.
I'm worried
So
about like my whole list.
yeah.
I'm worried about even having a pick, so I'm probably not going to take it.
All right. So I mean, I mean, not directly Tom, but kind of tipped this pick.
Yeah, I know what you're taking.
Was my weapon, and I only am picking it just because I mean I don't know. JD I was thinking maybe he would pick it, but I'm going lightsaber uh, as my weapon. I just think it's the best weapon that I've ever seen in the movie. I think it would be super cool to have, but also like dangerous as hell because you can just accidentally like turn it on and either get someone or yourself or something. But yeah, I mean,
Keep
if
the
you just
safety
like,
on.
yeah, there's really not a safety on them. So I just think like if you gave a whole army lightsabers, like they do some damage. So
But I feel like people aren't as good with the lifesaver if you can't use the force.
fair point. Um,
I mean, you could
but I
obviously
mean,
you
it's
can
just
still
kind of like a
you can
sword,
still
right?
yeah you can still slashing things up.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I mean you can still do some damage with that, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I'll go with that as my pick.
I'd still say it's a strong opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom, I think you're up with
Yeah.
whatever category you want here.
Yeah. I got a few picks in mind. Similar to you guys, I'm gonna go with the one that I don't know, but I feel like it'd be the most likely to be drafted. So I'm gonna go with my favorite like battle. I think that was one of the characters like war scenes, like battle
Yeah.
scenes, basically, right?
Mhm.
So I'm basically gonna go with the entire movie of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Consider that's not my movie. That's not my movie pick though. That is just
That's
my
the scene.
Battle of Hogwarts.
Okay, well
Battle of
that's
Battle for
better.
Hogwarts.
That's better. That's
Oh yeah,
better.
yeah, that
Which
works.
coincidentally just happens from like 30 seconds in to the very end of the movie. So basically that whole battle for Hogwarts and Harry versus Dumbledore, I guess, is kind of included. I guess, or not Harry versus Dumbledore, Harry versus Voldemort. I guess I'm not even including that part. Just like the battle for like the school, like just the
Yeah.
Battle of Hogwarts is what I'm gonna say is my war scene or battle scene. So
A
I'll
good
kick it
one.
over to you, JD. I feel like that one had the most likely chance of being taken, but again, who knows? So I'll kick it over to you, JD, and you get 2 picks in the snake, right?
Yeah. All right. So the first one, I thought someone might take this, but now that I'm thinking it, I think he might not be who I want. But I like it either way. I'm going with Lieutenant Aldo
God
Rain
damn it! That
from
was my
Inglourious
pick.
Bastards.
Dude, nice
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
Very, very nice pick.
Love
I think
it.
it's this way. I literally had him pulled up because I was like,
That's a
that
good
was the other
pick.
one I was in between because I was like, I don't know if they're gonna think of this as a war movie, but yeah,
Dude,
That's a great pick.
he cracks me up the whole
Hilarious.
movie. And Arrivederci.
I speak the best Italian.
Yeah.
Arrivederci.
And
Great
then
pick.
favorite scene, I don't know if favorite's the right word, maybe best, but I think it's also kind of a long scene, but it's the Omaha Beach of Saving Private Ryan.
yeah.
It's pretty long and super intense, but I just think it's like a really good war scene in general.
Yeah, I feel like if people say that's like the best war scene, like in general. So I feel
Yeah.
like you got some value there at the turn.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't too worried about that scene being chosen, but I thought Aldo Rain might be off the board
Yeah, that was gonna
when I
be
was
my next
third.
pick if he made it back.
That's a great pick. I think I'm gonna have a controversial pick here. Considering you might not say it's a war movie. But my war movie, I'm going with Forrest Gump.
I mean,
I
There
think
is a war.
I guess there is.
there's
See,
a
here's
war.
my
If
thing.
not, I'll pivot and I'll go with Lieutenant Dan. Actually, no. I don't want Lieutenant Dan because I already have my character. All right, skip that one.
I would just say like I think if you want to pick the Forrest Gump scene for like scene
I'm
or
fresh out of
moment, but
scenes.
like as the
You
full
already got a scene.
I know as the full movie, I don't think we could take that.
All right,
Yeah.
that's fine. Then I'm gonna go with. This is tough. But I'm gonna go with my movie. Um, I'm gonna go with Full Metal Jacket. If you guys have seen that, I'm a big fan of that movie, and there's a character in it that's that's like hilarious. So I thought about using that as my character, but I'm just gonna do the movie because it's a really good movie. And yeah, I'm gonna take that. And yeah, I'll have to do a weapon and a character still. So
All right.
on to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I was thrown for a loop. I was just really holding out hope for Aldo, but I guess I'll go with movie. I mean, I don't think JD would take this, but just in case, I'm gonna go with 1917. You guys have seen that.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. Just one single shot the whole time. Like it was awesome. I saw it in theaters and it like just was incredible. I think I'd probably say Saving Private Ryan's better. I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while, but if it's not, like that's my number two, if not number one. So well, just like war movies. So yeah, love that movie. So I'll have to go with that. Uh Well, I'm just gonna have to kind of go off the cuff here with character. So I'll well, I don't know how to even spell that. Like my I hate controlling this because my spelling is just gets exposed here. But we're going from War of the Planet of the Apes. We'll go with Caesar.
Oh, that's a good pick.
But I don't know
Good,
if I spelled
great
that.
pick.
I think that's right. Okay.
I think so.
So it was Caesar.
That's a little callback too for an earlier episode. If
That's
you
true.
if you haven't seen it,
It's kind of where I pulled it from. So even though I think that was technically a rise, but whatever. He's in all three. So yeah. Happy with Caesar. How about you, Tommy? What are you going with?
yeah, I'm gonna go Bubba from Forrest Gump.
It's just on the Forrest Gump train.
Yeah.
Because he's only in it for the war, so I feel like that counts.
I would say that counts.
Yeah. I'm up next. All right. So let me count. Let me know if this counts as like a war movie. All right. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Would you count that?
I would. I mean, kind of.
I mean, it like kind of is, but like.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, there's like
it's
many
very
battles,
a
and
lot
they
of
last most of the movie.
yeah, a lot of genres in that movie. Well, I guess just like adventure and stuff, but
Up to you. Up to Tom if he wants to pass it since we vetoed his.
yeah,
I say it's fine.
all right. I would say that's the best one then.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's
That
an
works.
incredible movie. So
Yeah, so I didn't know if it counts, so I had some others lined up just in case. But all right, then weapon. I think this weapon would be really cool to have. I'm going with Yondu's arrow from Guardians of the Galaxy.
oh yeah,
Just a little whistle going and let it
gotta make
spin
me
around the room.
spell fucking Yondu, huh?
Oh, it just
I think it's yeah. Okay, I got it.
it's just like Yondu.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah,
That's how I spelled it on my side screen.
yeah. That's a good one.
All right.
Tommy.
Well, I'll finish out my draft. Well, we'll see if you guys allow it. What do you guys think about for weapon? Spider-Man's web slinger or web shooter. Think that's a weapon?
I'll allow it because it's.
It webs
I
people
mean,
up.
in Toby's Spider-Man, it's just. I mean, it's part of him, but in the other
Right.
ones, you've got the actual shooter. So
But in
Right.
like the suit Stark built, that thing's definitely a weapon. You can put like
Yeah.
instant
That's
kill
true.
on. So
Right.
yeah.
That's true. Sweet. I'm
I'd say
going
it
with that.
definitely counts as a weapon.
Hell yeah.
or web shooter.
Web shooter, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. I guess for me, I just have like battle. It's just movies, right? It has to be because that's what we established.
Yeah. I was trying to rack my brain for like Breaking Bad scenes, but I just feel like it's
I would say I was gonna the Game of Thrones scene, but I can't count that. I mean, no, because I went into this thinking it was movie, and
I would let that slide.
I'm gonna stick with movie. So
There's
I'm gonna go.
some great battle scenes in there though.
I know, like Battle of the Bastards. I think would be
insane.
my pick, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, I don't know if it technically has a name, but Battle of Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. which 2 Star Wars picks, which I mean, no
I
really
mean,
shocker there, but
yeah, it's not out of character.
yeah, was kind of hoping to go a different direction, but I do love that scene. I think and it's my favorite movie of all time, so I'm cool with picking it there. And it's I mean, Mr. Irrelevant. I'll take it as that. I think that's
True.
good value.
That's true.
That's a great value pick.
So
The
yeah,
movie
this
is
is
PG. Fun fact. I
Is
just
it?
looked it up. Yeah, they honestly maybe didn't even have PG-13 back then.
I actually thought that one was PG-13.
I feel like the ratings changed at some point in our lifetime.
Right.
You watch a
I just
PG-13 movie from like 1990, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, so I just looked. I just
Porky's?
It
Googled.
is,
That
yeah.
might be rated R.
I just Googled though when did PG-13 start, and it was 84. And
Oh,
Star Wars
okay.
came out in 1980, so
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Huh?
it must have been like PG or R.
Yeah,
A lot of gray area in there, I'd say.
I would say so. Yeah.
But
Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's the
JD,
draft.
that is true.
Yeah.
Porky's.
I think
Yeah,
Porky's actually
Porky.
might be rated R, but
It should be.
It has to be.
Fucking hate that movie. All right,
It is R.
Yeah, so let us know who you guys think won. And yeah, I guess if we get enough of a vote, we'll maybe keep like a running tally of these drafts, who wins most and whatnot. So cool. Well, besides that, obviously going to talk about Dunkirk here shortly, but if you have been following along with us, the duration of these recordings, we also listen to either a year or two of Billboard hits from a certain year, going in order. So last time we recorded, we decided we were going to do best or favorite songs of 1998 and 1999. So yeah, I guess we can get into that, since I guess I'll go first for 98. I mean, I said this last time, like these songs are just so good now that it's tough to pick. But this one is also one of my favorites of all time, so it was kind of easy. So I went with "One Week" by Bare Naked Ladies. Love it. It's also, I mean, I think of American Pie when I hear it too, because I think it's at the end of that movie. But yeah, love that song. So that's what I went with. Tom, you can go next since you're next in the order.
Yeah. I mean, great pick. Can't go wrong. Like you said, the competition is like really it's steep. It's really a lot of good songs. I mean, 1 week would definitely be in consideration for me, but I went with "Gone Till November" by Wyclef Jean. I love that song. It's a great one, but you got, like some honorable mentions. You got some Third Eye Blind on here. Got some really good songs. So 98 and 99 are both really good. But yeah, we're going with Wyclef there. So what do you got, JD?
I would say I thought Ryan would pick 1 week because I think you're the first person that I ever played Bare Naked Ladies around me. So every time I hear him, I think of you. If that's weird or not, I don't know. But but I went with, I don't know if it's the best song on this list, but I love this song. I went by Tub Thumping by Chubbawamba.
Dude, great. That's a great song.
It's
Not
just,
expect that one, but
it's just
that's
like,
fun.
yeah, it's just like really catchy, and like I love it every time I hear it. And I honestly don't listen to it that much, so that's probably another reason I love it every time I hear it. But yeah. And then 99, this I don't this is one of my favorite songs of all time, and I still don't believe it came out in like the 90s, but I went with Believe by Cher.
Really?
Dude, I love that song.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Not where I was thinking.
I
All
think I came up
right.
with some wild cards in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely not my pick. This is like the chalkiest pick you'll ever have, but it's on here. It's probably my favorite song of all time. If I had to pick one, it's All Star by Smash Mouth. I mean, I think it's probably the most, like, as close to a perfect song as you'll ever see. It was also my first CD, was
Yeah, the Shrek.
Astro Lounge. No, it's Astro
Oh.
Lounge by Smash Mouth. The CD or the album that it came out on. That was like first CD I ever had. I mean, 1999, so I was like 4, and had it on CD player or Walkman, whatever you want to call it, and it was all hits. So yeah, that's my pick. Pretty easy one there.
That's funny. All hits. Yeah, whatever happened to Smash Mouth? That's a shame.
Dude, I was talking with somebody about that once because they were telling me how they like Smash Mouth performed in like Daytona Beach or like some one of those like spring break locations for like free. I was like, I would have killed to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they still draw a crowd from around our age. So
I would see him play for sure.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't drop
I'd
a
probably
whole
get
bunch of money, but yeah, if it
Nah.
was free, of course.
Yeah.
$15, I'd do it. $20.
Favorite song of all time.
I'd spend
say that
50. I'd spend
$15.
50.
I'd say about anyone play for $15.
Yeah. Well, okay. I would pay like 50 to maybe even 100, but I feel like their going rate would be like 15.
Yeah,
If I had to guess.
They're like state
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
territory nowadays.
Yeah. Indiana State Whitewater River
Yeah.
Park or wherever that Indiana one is.
Yeah. Ryan, I feel like I could guess the band of this year for that you chose. I don't know which song, but I feel like I could guess the band.
Yeah. What would you guess? Because I'm.
The Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Goo Goo Dolls and it's Iris, which I
Mm.
mean, I would say that's their most popular song, which I mean, it's chalky, I guess, but I love that song. Like that's in my top 10 of all time. So
Phenomenal song.
yeah, love that song. And just the band in general. I'm actually seeing them next week in concert. So that'll be a good one. But yeah, so that's 98, 99. So finally get to 2000 next week. So should be a good one. And then yeah, I mean from here on out, I think it's gonna just be bangers. So
Yeah, I mean, I bookmarked 99. I love pretty much that whole playlist.
yeah, I think that was the best overall year.
I think that's the best top to bottom that we've had. I mean,
Yeah.
also helps that we were live. Well, we were growing
Yeah.
up and these songs were still relatively popular. So
Yeah.
I knew like a lot of them, but love them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did a sneak peek at 2000. It's gonna be very hard to choose.
Yeah, no, 2000. I mean, yeah, it's just from here on out, it's insane. Of what we're gonna have to choose from, but yeah, there's gonna be some interesting. I mean, they're all throwbacks at this point, I guess. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, if you're following along, there'll be 2000 next week. So, feel free to give it a listen, especially if you haven't revisited those in a while. Yeah, we'll go through our favorites next time.
I'm actually not looking forward to next week because it's gonna be so hard.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I don't know if you guys noticed, but Notice chose it, but Semi-Charmed Life was also on 98.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
it
almost
was.
chose
Yeah,
that.
which
Yeah.
double up.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just saw it on there.
I was thinking that too, actually. I was like, wait, didn't we all pick this last week?
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah, we
that's why I
picked it
thought
for
I had the wrong
90s.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
It-
there's
it-
probably some overlap. Like the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
year after,
Might have
so.
come out like end of 97
Yeah.
and like was still popular. Because I've noticed
mean,
that
it's-
with some of these songs, like some of these songs are way older and they're popular. But I'm like, I guess that makes sense because like, what was that one song with Dua Lipa and like Elton John, the Rocket Man one?
Oh,
Like-
Cold Heart or something?
Yeah, like I feel like Rocket Man could like say Rocket Man gets played a lot. That could technically be a top hit of like 2023.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's what
thinking.
throws me for a loop because whenever I hear these songs, I'm like, oh, it means it came out in 1998. But I
How
mean,
did
most
they-
of the time, yes, but not always.
How do you judge top hits back then? Was it by like album sales or like, cause you had to
don't
buy it
know.
by the album,
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
doing
like
on the radio, right?
streaming.
Yeah, because
Right,
streaming's
right.
really easy, you know, what's
That's
the name of
true.
the song?
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, I think it was probably sales.
Yeah,
Or like maybe even like radio plays went into it because like
yeah.
the radio kind of controlled what you listened to because there wasn't really any like streaming. I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember like VH1 would always have like the top 100 that I would watch in like summer
Yeah.
always, I
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
And I've never thought about how they got it. I was like, yeah, these are the best songs, but never thought
Bad
how
Day
they were
is
combined.
one of the best songs.
Yeah. For like 3 years straight.
Right.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody knows, comment on our
Yeah.
YouTube.
Call
Let
us out for being dumb, but
Yeah. Call into the show next week. Tell us off.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Billboard hits for this week. Yeah, we'll do 2000 next week. What we also talked about last time was the movie, obviously, that we watched, which is Dunkirk. First time I saw it, I think you guys have seen it before. Maybe it has been a little bit, but to give a quick synopsis for those who either haven't seen it, if you haven't, maybe stop watching right now and go watch it. But synopsis is Allied soldiers from Belgium, the British Commonwealth, and Empire in France are surrounded by the German army and evacuated during a fierce battle in World War II. So I like this movie. It wasn't exactly what I kind of expected. I did like, like Nolan always does kind of a twist with his especially like kind of just like revolving around time and everything. So it was cool to kind of see like the different perspectives going on in like, well, I'll get into it because they kind of jump back and forth on a couple of things that I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on. But overall, like it's a good movie, very well made. Like it looks awesome, I thought. For me, like I didn't really get not necessarily like attached, but like with the characters as much. Like I didn't love like the characters necessarily. Not that they were like bad or anything. There wasn't anything I really like held on to too much there. And that's usually where I can go like pretty high if I can like resonate with those. But still overall like very good movie. I think it's like kind of just the middle of the road for me in terms of Nolan's movies. Like I don't think it's like top tier. Just kind of like in the middle. So for that reason, I'll pull up the scores here. I gave this movie an 84. So still really good, but I think, not, I mean, I think I just ranked Oppenheimer 88. So like not that level or even like beyond that with Inception or anything, but still overall pretty good. So that's what I went with. How about you, Tom?
Yeah, I know we'll dive into it, but I think I'm higher on this movie actually because I have seen it before. So I saw it in theaters, I guess 6 years ago. It came out in 2017. Damn, time flies. But I think the first time I saw it, it was probably more along the score you have, probably around more like an 80. Just because it was, I don't want to say, I thought it was good, but it was like same thing. Maybe it didn't resonate as much or thought it was a little confusing, or I don't want to say I thought it was boring, but a little more like dry maybe. I think the second time I saw it, I appreciated it way more. And I think I just like, it's just like a beautiful movie in terms of like the way he shot it. Like that's what stood out to me is like the first scene, it captures like, the European towns, and it looks great. Like the air battle scenes, you've got like the blue sky and the white clouds, but then you also like you can see every like nut and bolt in the planes. It's crazy how like good it looks. So I really liked it. I think we'll talk about it a little bit more, but there's like a few things that keep it from like the 90s for me, but I have it at an 88.
All right.
So I did enjoy it.
You, Jay?
It's gonna be somewhat of an echo chamber here. Actually, Ryan, I thought you hit it like spot on with how I thought, and then like Ryan or Tom also had some really good points too. I'm a little lower than both of you, and I have seen this before, but I don't think my opinion of the movie changed. I was at an 82. But yeah, to echo the things you guys said, it's like beautifully shot, like everything the way it's done is just like really well done. And then like some of the takeaways, like Ryan said, like you don't really get attached to any of the characters, like they're just, I mean, you're kind of just there. There's not like a ton of backstory or anything, but like it's a really well done war movie. Like it kind of shows both like for civilians and the soldiers, like it's just a tough time. And I really like the opening scene, like you said, Tom, when he's like running through the town and they're like, just looking in houses. The dude's like smoking like half a butt of a cig, like just trying to get anything going. And then yeah, like you guys said, there's a few things holding it back just from being like higher, but I think it is just one of those movies that I don't think it was ever gonna be like the greatest movie ever, but it's just gonna be just a solid good movie.
I
Yeah.
think it's fair. Yeah.
I
it's a
think
good
so
point.
too. Yeah, I will say like I did love how it started. And you know, it like gives a little bit more on like the situation obviously that they're in, and then it goes back to like the actual movie and like the I don't know if it was just like paper. I think it was like flyers or something like falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, something
I
like
think that was a pretty big thing back in like World War II is like, you didn't have like text messages or you
Right.
just like you flew over and you like, I mean, they saw it in Oppenheimer too, where they dropped flyers on, what was it? I can't even remember this, like what the first city was. Nagasaki, I think, where they dropped the flyers where like we're dropping the A bomb, like evacuate.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was like a big thing they did in like around World War II. And it was basically that. It was like, here's Dunkirk, we have you surrounded, like the enemy or whatever. Um, yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, that yeah, I thought that was really well done to like set the stage there. Like you said, Jay, when he's like just like trying to fiend off the butt of the cig and uh just like get any water they could. I think it was just from like a random hose or
a
whatever.
hose, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when they obviously get shot except for the one guy, but yeah, I thought it set the stage. And then when I don't even know his name, but I would say the main character, I don't
Tommy
know,
or Tommy
Tommy,
and
yeah.
George, the two, like
Um,
one of the kid, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah.
yeah, the one that was like running at the beginning, and then when he's like on the
Uh,
beach and like puts his head over his like ears, and then like you see the
Mm-hmm.
explosions, like boom, boom, boom on the beach. Like that was my favorite
That was
scene.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like to your point, shot beautifully, really across the board. You know, whether they were on the land, sea, air, all of it, I think it was done super well. And yeah, I just think well, here's another thing. So at the beginning, I guess I missed two, like the Roman numeral two. Like it said, um, it was kind of doing like a part one, two, three thing or whatever. But I forget what the first part was. But it had like Roman numeral one,
it
and
was
Was
the
it the
then
mole?
mole, was
Was
it?
it the
I think it
the
was the
mole?
mole, yeah,
mole.
the
Yeah.
mole, and then they had, I think something about air. I think was the third one. So then I
Yeah.
was like, where was?
Third was C, right?
I think C was second.
I think it had to be
Yeah.
because I missed two,
'Cause
but
it also said like, what I liked is it said how long it took. Like the land was like a week, the sea was like a
It's like a
day,
day.
and
yeah,
the air was an hour,
Yeah.
which I thought was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I did like that because I didn't know I didn't think it was necessarily like necessary, but the fact that I did say like how long it took and everything, that was cool. So I did appreciate that. But I don't know if it was just because I didn't mind it jumping around or anything from, you know, all those different points. I actually liked that it was kind of set up that way because there was a lot of stuff going on at the same time, just not in the same place. Um, but I think for me, maybe that's where I lost like the character element to where like you didn't have necessarily like too much time with them, maybe, I guess. So that's where it kind of I wouldn't say lost me, but where I was lower on it in some aspects was that part of it.
I mean,
That
I would
makes sense.
agree. I mean, like I think it was cool how they shot the time because like I mean, being stuck at the mole for like a week. I mean, obviously they're not just like standing in the line, I would imagine for the whole week or whatever. But just like being stuck at that like scenario would suck. But obviously you're not having like air battles the entire time. But
Right.
and Christopher Nolan loves doing random stuff with time because pretty sure he does it in like every movie.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought that was really well done. And then also, like you said, like the characters, I don't even like. There's some big names kind of in this. Well, Barry Keoghan wasn't at the time, I would say. I mean,
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then
up
he
and
was in
comer.
Banshees, which is
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Inisherin. Yeah.
But like, yeah, they have like Tom Hardy, and I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
not to say he like did anything
Cillian Murphy.
bad, yeah, but like Tom Hardy, you have like a big name actor, he's a really good actor, and he doesn't really get to show off a whole lot of range or anything. Like half the time he's just flying in a plane.
Yeah.
Like,
He really doesn't even say anything.
no, he barely
Except
talks.
those
And when he does, it's
over
just
up
like
there.
to the other, yeah, just to
Yeah.
the other
Mhm.
planes. And then Barry Keoghan, I mean, he got the raw end of the stick. He
Yeah.
was he wasn't even supposed to go on that boat, and then he just like hops on at the
Mhm.
last second.
Yeah.
And Tom's boy just murked him.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
I
that was
did
tough.
that I did remember. Like I didn't remember like much from this movie, but I just remember being like on the boat, like something like bad happened, like something
Yeah.
really sad happened. I honestly didn't even remember that Cillian Murphy was in this, or I didn't know. Like, because to both your guys' points, you guys kind of nailed it exactly what I was thinking. Like Ryan, you said there's not that many characters. To your point, JD, like there are some big name actors. Like
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, I mean, he doesn't have a like. I love him. I thought his performance in this thought was great. And Tom Hardy, like I think at one point, like halfway through, I was like, is that Tom Hardy like flying the plane? I was like, I wouldn't be shocked because he like works with Nolan a lot, but you don't actually see his like face until like the last 2 minutes of the movie.
No.
So I think to both your guys' point, I think that is very true with the characters. I think the only characters you really get to know because there's like dialogue is like this in the civilian boat, like the
Yeah.
dad, his son,
Yeah.
and the whatever the kid's name that ends up dying, George.
Yeah.
George, yeah.
Who, yeah, I saw him. I was like, isn't he in Banshees of Inisherin? And so, yeah, he must have been. This must have been like a first role for him, or one of his first roles, I feel like. But those are like the only characters I feel like you really get to know. I know Ryan's favorite actors in this, Harry Styles, but like
Yeah.
even him,
Love
it's like
him.
you don't really know. He just blends in because like in like all the sea, like you can't even really tell the difference, like who's a German or not a German, who's a French soldier, who's a British soldier, who's Belgian at one point. I think the guy comes in, or Danish or whatever it was. It's like they all are like have the exact same like haircuts. It's hard to tell who's who. You don't get to know any sort of personalities. So I agree with you guys there. It's hard to kind of attach to any characters.
And going on along with like it's like overcast or like dim lighting in like most of the movie, so it's not
Mhm.
you don't get like a lot of clear cut. Well, at least like the war scenes, at least like on the boat, there's a little more. But yeah, you can't always tell who's who, like who's talking and stuff like that. But bringing up that Danish guy or whatever that was on the boat, that was one of the most intense scenes too. Like,
Mhm.
like we gotta lose some weight. Well, I know who goes. Like, Jesus.
That was intense as hell.
Yeah. Well, it's you or him. Like, oh, God.
Right. Like, that guy was a dick. The one
Well,
guy.
have you guys seen Ready Player One? I just want to bring this
No.
up
Yeah.
before I
Oh,
forget.
Ryan has.
Okay,
Yeah.
you like that movie?
No, I read the book first. I love the book. The movie was okay for me.
Kind of a letdown after reading the book.
Yeah, actually a huge letdown.
But so I watched this movie, and then I watched Ready Player One, and the captain, the civilian old guy, the father on the captain or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He's James Halliday in Ready Player One, and I was like, dude, I
Oh, yeah.
recognize him. I just saw him somewhere, and it was throwing me for a loop. But he looked James Halliday. He has like the long crazy hair, and he talks like really
Yeah.
really soft, which yeah, he talks kind of soft in this too. But he just looked way different. But yeah, it's just a side point of another movie I watched in the last week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I saw the kid from Banshees of Inisherin. I was like, I know that guy somewhere. This is
Yeah.
crazy. But I had to look
Uh,
it up. But
He's also rumored for the new Batman. He's rumored to be the Joker at the very end.
Yeah.
Or
Huh.
yeah, when the Riddler's in that cell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that, I just
That's
watched
wild.
Prisoners the other day too, and I saw Paul Dano, and I was like, dude, that's
Oh,
like the first
yeah.
thing I ever saw him in.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Wait,
in
isn't fucking Barry Connigan in Prisoners too? Isn't he the brother?
Oh wait, he might be actually.
I think he is.
Dude, it's so like when you watch movies that have like nothing to do with.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's the guy from what's that? 20 or 13 Reasons Why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the kid, the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
the
Yeah.
main guy, the main kid.
Kind
Yeah.
of looked like
Yeah,
alike, but
they look alike, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's weird watching movies and then all of a sudden you just like see the same act. Even though movies have nothing to do with each other, came out in different years, stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it's
Right.
like, dude, I just watched him in another movie, completely different role.
Yeah.
Literally, speaking of that, I was just on that Barry Keoghan guy's IMDb, and it in the background it had a picture of Mad Eye Moody because he's in Banshees of Inisherin, which is like
Oh
again
yeah.
another movie that is like not even close to Harry Potter, but
No. But yeah.
I was
Um,
gonna say, go ahead,
but
JD.
I was
I
just
was
gonna
gonna
say, going back to the war movies, I feel like Brad Pitt's been in just about like all of them. Like he's in like Fury and Glorious Bastards, World War Z if you count that.
Oh yeah.
There was another one. Wait, I forget what it was. I swear there was another one. But yeah, he's been in quite a few war movies.
yeah,
Killing Them Softly if you count mob movies as war.
yeah.
I guess in a way.
I watched that for the first time last week too when I was sick.
Uh, I was gonna say back to Dunkirk. One of my
Yeah.
bigger knocks on it, I guess. We'll see. I'll see if you guys agree or how you feel. But I think one of my bigger just drawbacks, which honestly for a while, like it was just so like beautifully shot. Like halfway through, I was like, this is probably in the 90s for me. Like this is probably like a 90 to 91. And the reason I deducted a few points, again, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think one thing that they didn't really I don't want to say they didn't do a good job. Like it's Christopher Nolan. Like he did, I'm sure, the job that he intended to do. But for me, like I don't feel like I fully grasp like the significance of the Battle of Dunkirk. Like I don't because like you guys said that I mean, or we talked about, there's not like a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of like story lead up. Like it's just basically like that one guy, he's like, they're gonna spit on us, like spit at our feet or whatever. And then a guy like hands him like a beer over like in a train. And he's like, oh, I'm all right, aren't I? He's like drinking it. But like I had to basically like Google like Battle of Dunkirk to like get the significance. Because all they did really, like you kind of saw in the movie, all they really did was retreat. And the soldiers think that they're like huge failures, and like the people that are like the civilians think, like, no, that's a win. Like that's all you had to do. So I feel like if that would have shown like how that contributed to like the victory in Europe on like the European front, or like the direct, what happened before that made that so significant, or what happened directly after that made that so significant. Because like right now all I know is like they retreated at Dunkirk. Like I don't know how that plays into the giant World War II is so interesting because there's so many elements, but it's like I don't really know how that feeds into the overall like war, like the overall like campaign of it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No,
No,
I did
it
the
does.
same as you. I looked it up as soon as after, and I still am a little confused at like the big I mean, I understand like
Right.
400,000 soldiers stuck on a beach, and you had to like get
Right.
civilians to help them out. But it also like going up with the whole scope of everything that happened in that war and just seeing Oppenheimer. It's like weird to think at the same time all these guys are on this beach. Oppenheimer's literally developing like the A-bomb, and
Yeah.
there's just all over the place
And,
things are different happening that
and like there's like
affected
concentration camps going on. Like it's
Yeah.
all this shit is happening at the exact same time, like in the same world, in the same continent, like in Europe, like not that far apart. But
Yeah.
it is wild. Like that is crazy that you mentioned the Oppenheimer angle, where it's like these guys have no idea probably who Oppenheimer is or what's going on or any of that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then like you could also throw like D-Day in there, like
Mhm.
just all
Well,
like
Oppenheimer was on a boat in this one too.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
true. That's true. Fuck, how's he two places at
Yeah.
once?
Man, he was crazy.
Had to get up close and personal.
Added one to his casualty count.
Yeah.
I mean that is
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, I'm not
dark,
gonna
but
lie, like he well, so was the kid that lived obviously on the boat, when he was pissed when it happened, but then when he finds out that Barry died, he didn't tell the guys just because he's like shell shocked, is what they said, like don't put him through more than he has been, kind of thing, or what?
that's what I assumed. I assumed that they could tell he had like obvious like trauma from like the U-boat.
Yeah.
And like they probably could see like that he was gonna have a lot of like PTSD and stuff, and I assume they're just like, let's not put one more thing on him, because
Yeah.
that would have been really hard to live with, because I don't even
Yeah.
remember what happened. Was he trying to give him like a cup of tea and he just freaked out and pushed him? Like I
I
forget
thought,
exactly how, but
yeah, I forget. They were trying to calm him down because he didn't want to go back to the war or whatever, right? And
yeah,
then,
he didn't want to go to France.
yeah, and then I think he was just trying to calm him down, and just like pushed him away or something.
Yeah.
But I actually loved Cillian Murphy, and it's just based on like the psychological aspect of war, because you could literally see like how much he did not want to be a part of it again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
That's why I think that was a
thought
really
that
good
was
performance, even in a
A small
smaller type
window,
role.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I thought when they were uh it was pretty little boat that they picked up a lot of soldiers on somehow, but
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
they were all like in the oil and everything, and just like you could see the urgency that they were, like urgency and like how frantic they were trying to get in the boat when they had that on them. Like that was pretty like haunting too, seeing
Yeah.
that. And also I get, because like this is for sure a war movie, but there wasn't like too many like battles. You know what I mean? Like,
No, like there's like a bombing and like the dog fighting, but outside of
yeah,
that, it's
Yeah.
more just
which I
like,
didn't really mind, but um, yeah, I just thought there were kind of be more than that, but also like I thought it was really not like a cool scene, but that made you feel like you were kind of there with them, is when they were trapped in that boat
Yeah. Getting
on the beach.
shot.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Agreed.
that was crazy. Just because like the claustrophobic like
yeah,
piece
that's
of it, like I was feeling that, because I was like, man, that's kind of spooky, but I thought that was cool too, like something that we haven't I mean, I haven't seen every war movie ever, but something that I guess that, and like the other scenes, they just weren't in other movies, war movies. So it was cool to see like that also interpretation, or however you want to call it. Because I'm sure stuff like this happened all the time, but
yeah.
usually movies it's just like, the fights and everything. So yeah, I guess it was cool to see that, the twist. I don't even know if it's a twist, but just in that different light. I did like that a
Mhm.
lot out of this one.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree, because like it was literally like a fish in a barrel kind of situation. Like you had nowhere to really
Yeah.
go. That was intense. Yeah, you honestly felt like you were like stuck in that boat. Like that that was a good scene. I also really liked the like you said, JD, like the dog fighting, and like I like the whole aspect of, like the fuel, like where he was running
Yeah.
out of fuel. Thought that was kind of interesting, like how that ended up playing out. But yeah, I thought the air battle was really cool. Like I just thought the shots looked really good, and like when those two came together, like I think it was like the farrier guy, like Tom Hardy's character,
Mm-hmm.
like when his buddy, like the civilians rescued his buddy, and then
He
you could
saves
see
him.
it. Yeah, like you could see it from the angle of like the ship and stuff of the German fighter coming to like bomb either the mole, or I think it was the mole, and you could see him like rooting on his buddy who shoots the German plane out of the air. I thought that was really pretty cool how that all like came together and had like a big impact in the overall fight. So um that was cool from like the timeline angle of it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I do like how it tied it up well. And I think, um, I mean, I don't know if we want to jump all the way to the end, but I will say, when I did like feel something is when, um, I think it's almost like the last scene where, what's his name? Peter, the one kid on the boat, and his dad, like, I don't know if that's his dad or not. I forget. That's driving the
It
boat.
it is.
I assumed it was, but I guess it could
Yeah,
be like someone he works with
Yeah.
or something, but I
it
just
is.
assumed
He
it
calls him
was.
dad, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When like they go in and drop off to the newspaper about George, because he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, just
Uh,
tell like my family or whatever about this. I thought that was really cool. Like that was touching, and like a good way to wrap that up too.
Yeah,
I mean, he just gets a short end of the stick in every movie he's in. So
he does.
nice,
He does,
nice
yeah.
to get some recognition. So
That's true.
yeah, I did like that for sure. Oh, the other thing, of course, is Harry Styles' stupid ass character, but when they are in that boat on the beach and that starts to fill up water and they're like trying to throw out the one guy, acting like that's gonna do anything.
No, I thought the same thing.
No, the
There's
captain's
too
like,
much
that'll
weight.
probably do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone I think eventually said like one person's not going to make a difference or whatever, but like he
Yeah.
was very like gung ho and like believed
I
like
was
that was
very
gonna
adamant about
do
that.
anything, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that was
No, I thought the same thing. They're like, we have too much weight. And we're like, yeah, so you're looking at like 180 pounds or something. Like, wasn't that big of a
Right.
guy. I guess he got his
Right.
gear too, but
I know. I was thinking that too. Like he gets out and the boat automatically floats to the top, like just
Yeah.
takes off.
yeah. Yeah.
um, but now that we're talking about this movie, I think Tom said it. Like you see the haunting scenes, or maybe like right, like because not that many battles and stuff, but like it is a good depiction of what other like psychological elements of war. I'm starting to think I like
Yeah.
that more, just like because it's something different.
Me too.
Like there's a lot of like crazy stuff that happens that like on film it's not that wild, but if you think about like being in that scenario, it would be absolutely just horrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like think about if you were in that boat and
That
like
boat is living in my head right now, or just like
yeah,
sitting there on the beach, like, just waiting for anybody to come get you, like,
right.
Yeah.
and then like every now and then there's bombs dropping. You're like,
Yeah.
Or just like
I hope it's not
expecting
me.
death to
Right.
happen. Especially
Yeah,
on
like,
that
Right.
boat. It's like, all right, here it comes. Like
I would almost
Right.
feel, yeah, like you almost feel like a dead man walking. Like, yeah, we're not gonna live this, but like you're
Right.
just, I don't know. The
And then
feeling of
like
relief of getting home would have to be insane.
right. But I was thinking that too, like say you know, you like get home to your family and then, everybody expects you to be like happy and back to normal. But like anytime you're in like a tight space with people and you're just like you think back to like being on that ship,
Oh
like
yeah,
you'd be freaking out. Like it would just be so hard to go about like your normal life again.
yeah,
Which is what really sucks about, war in general. But kind
yeah.
of saw,
Like,
kind of saw it in Oppenheimer too, where he's having the struggles with it and he wasn't even like there. It wasn't
yeah,
like hand-to-hand combat, but
yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine like you get home from war, you go back to being like an accountant. Like,
right,
Yeah.
right.
just-
Not the same life. Yeah.
nah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I would imagine for a lot of those guys, like, cause there's kids that are like 22 in there. When you turn like 60, that almost has to feel like a different life altogether. Like 40
Mhm.
years ago.
yeah.
I mean, I obviously don't know, but
I would
yeah,
think so.
yeah,
Yeah, I do agree. Like it shows some different angles, and like honestly, the civilian angle I thought was pretty wild. Like I've never even thought about like a civilian taking a boat to like bring supplies across or like
no,
pick guys up like and that was pretty wild, honestly. And obviously like it happened, I would assume, considering they put it in there and it was a big feature
Yeah.
part of the movie. So um yeah, it was crazy. And I think just like the way it was shot was really, kind of showed like, and even like there was a scene where like the guys, they were coming back to England and they're like, oh, those are the cliffs. Like, are those Dover? Like, it was just like, they're kind of taking in like the beauty of the scene while also facing like the horror of what was going on. And like, they could kind of appreciate like, oh, that's our home country, even though the war is like far from over. And Peter or something was like, no, those are the cliffs of whatever. It was good. I really liked it. I thought it was well done overall.
yeah. I mean, I agree.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it might be a little low on it now that we're kind of talking about it, but yeah, I mean it's good. I do like, to your point, GD. I mean, I guess I kind of started with it, but it does show I don't know if there's two halves to war, but the other side of it, not necessarily like the shootouts and stuff, but just how
Yeah,
how it really felt down there, or wherever they were. But
yeah.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Overall, yeah, I like my rating. I mean, we kind of touched on this too. I just think the lack of character depth and like just like any emotional attachment to I mean, obviously I like the characters and stuff, but like there's not, I mean, we can barely remember their names. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
right.
it,
Like
it, I,
I half of them don't even have names, I think.
yeah, I mean,
Like Cillian Murphy's character was Shivering Soldier. I'm pretty sure, like on IMDb. So it's just like,
So yeah, it's just like I think a little more I think just like a lack of character appreciation maybe. Like they just none of them really had a range to work with because they're very set in like one time period. It's very solemn. It's like you can't show a lot of emotion. I mean, Cillian Murphy probably showed the most, but
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I think that's the only thing really holding it back for me from being higher.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I think Ryan said that off the
Yeah,
kind of off the bat, and I think it's just
yeah,
a,
I agree.
really good point.
But like after everything else we talked about, like it's all really
Mhm.
well done. I just think that's the only thing that like I think Ryan said this too. It just kind of kept it a little dry for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Kinda-
yeah, I still stand by that part of it, but that's not always, I guess, the intention of like the filmmakers. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah,
yeah, just because like Oppenheimer, for example, like that is kind of like a character study
yeah,
at the forefront of it. But this one, not really. It's more just kind of like the whole getting like the whole situation. Obviously, there's a lot of characters and everything, so it might be harder to do that. But
yeah,
still, I think overall, it was really good.
yeah. I agree. I would say yeah. This one just mainly focuses on different perspectives of war or of that particular battle, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, I think that's Dunkirk. Let's see on the list.
I was literally
got
just
the-
look-
so
it's-
I was literally just looking at this.
So it's just above Rocky 2. And then
What's it below?
well, it's actually tied technically with War of the
Okay.
Millers. So Tom is
That's a
very
great
high
movie.
on.
Yeah.
I am.
he's a little too, but-
Where the Millers is in between Joker and Dunkirk.
Yeah. I mean, props to War of the Millers, and
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
yeah, that's hilarious. So yeah, overall 84.7, I think.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say we recommend it if you haven't seen it. Definitely give it a watch. I do think it's leaving Netflix soon, which is what I watched on. I think it was also on something else though. So
I think I watched it on HBO Max, but I can't
Yeah.
remember.
I watched it on Max,
I think
Yeah.
it is on there too. So I guess you can
but
still watch it there.
speaking of Netflix, I'd like to admit I have a problem. They put the Fast and Furious on there.
I know.
I
they did.
watched the first and second today.
Did you
Just
really?
well, just background when I was working. I wanted some white noise. But yeah.
That'll do it.
I
That's
think
tough.
I'm checking into somewhere.
Yeah.
I
Back
got
off
the
the
need for
wagon.
speed.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Great. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I think that does it for Dunkirk. By Tom, I think you're up with the choice for next week. Hopefully, it's not Fast and Furious, but we'll give you free reign here.
Yeah, I'm actually going with a movie I'm fairly confident none of us have seen. I could be
Oh.
wrong. This is, I think, the oldest movie we've ever done. I just fact checked. It's actually 2 years older than Porky's.
Okay.
So should be interesting. It is Steve Martin. I think this
The
might be his most popular movie, The Jerk, if you guys have ever
yeah.
seen it.
Sure.
I haven't seen it, but I have. I don't know where I was seeing it, but someone was talking about this on. I think it was on Twitter or something the other day.
It might have
and-
been on IMDb tweeted it because I think it was like Steve
Maybe.
Martin's birthday or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but
So-
it was. I
what's it
think
on,
I saw
Tommy?
it too. It is on Netflix. It is on
Okay.
Netflix. So we
I've
should
heard
all
good
be.
things.
Yeah, I'd always heard of it, and obviously it's old, so we're gonna have a little bit. It's from 1979, so obviously it's gonna be a little bit different than what we're used to. We've been doing a lot of movies made in the last 10 years, I'd say. So we'll see how it holds up. It's a comedy, so we'll see how the comedy holds up. But Steve Martin's obviously had a really good career, and I think this was kind of like his first like breakout. So we'll see how it stacks up.
Steve Martin's
Yeah.
one of those guys where I'm glad we're watching this. He's one of those guys where I want to watch some of his older works because like his newer
Mhm.
ones, he kind of got into like the more like Eddie Murphy route where he did like the weird, just like family comedy type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I shouldn't call it weird, but
that's not. slander Cheaper by the Dozen, but
No,
I was
I'm,
gonna say
I don't want
that's
to
a
like.
classic.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like take away from like the good films. I feel like he didn't get his name from the movies I've seen him in. That's a better way to
correct.
phrase it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
very true.
I
I
feel like
have seen Plane, Trains, and Automobiles though. If you've seen that with
I've
John
heard that's
Candy.
good.
I
Oh
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
I
never
haven't seen
have,
that.
but I
I haven't
know
seen
everyone
that.
loves that.
that's hilarious. You guys should watch that.
I've heard that's really good. But I think Eddie Murphy is like a fairly like decent like comp to him because he's known as like one of the best or like better comedians like really of all time.
Yeah,
And same as Eddie Murphy, but it's like you know, when I was a kid, Eddie Murphy had like
Haunted Mansion.
are we there yet?
Yeah.
Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
It's like that's how I knew Eddie
Daddy
Murphy. I'm like, how
Daycare.
is this guy like funny? But then it's
Wait,
like you get a little
wasn't
older and you see like his stand up or you see like Coming to America or like Trading Places and you're like, oh yeah, this dude's hilarious. But
isn't Are We
uh,
There Yet Ice Cube?
I think it
Yes, I
is.
think it is. Yeah.
But yeah, for the longest time, thought Eddie Murphy was like, like just a clean comedian, did like Haunted Mansion and stuff like that. And then I saw his stand-up specials in the 80s, and I was
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, wow.
Yeah.
I
But they're
know.
hilarious. I love them.
Yeah. I was gonna say, when I was a kid, I thought Eddie Murphy is like, I mean, no offense to Eddie Murphy because he's like one of the greats, but I did not
Yeah.
think he was very funny, to be honest.
No, I agree.
But yeah, so that's why I'm kind of interested with Steve Martin because I know he's regarded as like one of the better, like comedians or comedic actors like of all time, and I've really only seen his like, Cheaper by the Dozen is what I know him for, which is an amazing movie, but I'm sure he would not rank that as like his top work. So
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this from like his prime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I'm
So
going to watch this. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it holds up. But yeah, that's the pick. That's on Netflix. So everybody should say for the most part have access to watch it. So looking
Yeah. I
forward to
mean,
it.
I'd say
Fair to
Netflix is
say.
probably the most widely used.
I feel like
I don't know if
I feel
that.
like it is still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I know they've
people
had like
creeping.
price increases and stuff, but
Yeah. I would say a lot of people also have Prime, but I don't think a lot of people use it for movies.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's what we got there. So what do we got? What we're watching now, right? We want to dive
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you watching, Tommy?
I have recently watched. I'm basically watching sports and any sports like documentary shows. It seems like. So I watched I think Saturday it was. I watched the Johnny Manziel
Yeah, me too.
documentary. You've seen that too, Ryan?
Yeah.
JD, have you seen it?
I haven't, not yet.
Um
I've heard
yeah,
all
I
about
thought
it though.
yeah, I don't want to dive into it too much. I thought it was all right. I thought it was like pretty good. Um and then show I think we all watched last year that came out with season 2 is Winning Time. So I kind of went under the radar for me that a season 2 came out and the second episode came out yesterday. So last night I watched the first one and I need to watch the second one. Honestly, might do that after this, but yeah, kind of more of the same of what you kind of. I don't want to get into it too much, but if
I
you've seen
heard the
season
first
1,
episode wasn't that great of the second season, but
I liked it. It's kind of like watching like I don't want to compare it to like Entourage because I love Entourage, but it's like a show that like even if it's not that great, you're just
still
like
gonna have fun with
I
it.
gotta see what's next. Like it's
Yeah.
just still like crazy,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
play a little basketball and then they get into a lot of hijinks. So I liked it. I mean, I wanna stay tuned to see, what's next for sure. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I've been watching. Aside from our movies and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. What about you guys?
Well, let's watch Fast and Furious today. No, but last week or so, I've started the new season of The Witcher. I don't know if you guys have watched that. I've only seen like 2 episodes in. Still watching Suits, although that's slowed down because I think I've said this before. The show just kind of gets a little repetitive.
Yeah.
But I've also been on a huge mob movie kick. I don't know why or how that started, but I watched Black Mass with like Johnny Depp, watched Killing Them Softly, American Gangster, which I love that movie. There's another one in there. Oh, I watched Drive with Ryan Gosling, which I just like Googled mob movies because I was like on that kick and it was like on
Oh,
there. I've seen it before, but like I don't know why it was on there, but I saw it on the list and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it.
not really a mob, or when I think of mob movies comes to mind, but
Well,
I
so
do
that's
like
like,
that movie a lot.
yeah, that's what piqued my interest because I was like, I mean, I know he like works for people and stuff, but I was
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't really count that a mob movie. And then I was like, well, maybe forgot some parts. I'm like, nope, pretty much exactly how I remembered
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's a good one though.
Yeah, it is a good one. I like it. But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Yeah, for me, I did watch Johnny Manziel, which I thought was like pretty good. There was some fucking wild shit I did not know
Dude, there was some
about that
wild stuff.
situation.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that was like funny to see. I mean, some of it's sad too, but
Mhm.
like that, just because I mean, honestly, he was maybe the most in our time popular college football player
I
ever.
would
I
say
think
Like
most
just in
I,
our life.
most popular college
I
player of all time,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah, I think I was trying to explain it to like my fiance. Like she was in the other room doing something. I was trying to explain to her like because I asked if she'd heard of him, just kind of curious, someone that doesn't follow sports, and I was like, he was probably the most popular athlete, at least in the U.S. at that time. I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
like any sport, like he was. And it's nuts. Like they kind of show in the documentary of like how much he did for Texas A&M, and like
Mhm.
they always have that saying like, oh, he put him on the map, but it's like he went way, way, way,
Yeah.
way beyond that. Like he was college football, and like
Oh, yeah.
he really was electrifying to watch. Like that what one year, like 2012 or whatever it was, when he beat Alabama. Like I
Yeah.
still remember watching that game. Like he was just
Yeah.
you had to tune in to watch Johnny football. Like it was
Yeah.
nuts.
And he was hanging out with like LeBron and like A-Rod.
Drake and
Yeah,
yeah,
Drake.
Drake made
Yeah,
that
he's
song
yeah,
about him, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Draft
Draft
day, right?
day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, like he's literally like superstars are hanging out with him. Like he was an icon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
So
funny
yeah.
because like I always assumed he like partied and stuff, like he did the money thing, and like I thought he kind
Yeah.
of just did that as like a just to rile up the media. It's like no, he was doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he was about life,
Wasn't
Yeah.
there a picture of him with like a sparkler or
Scooby.
something in his mouth?
Oh,
Like at a
Probably,
club?
probably.
Yeah.
probably. There's the
Uh,
one where he had the money and he's like, I have too much fucking money.
yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it yet, but I thought one of the funniest things I've heard about it so far is like, yeah, like Johnny, how much film you watch? Is like 0. They like pull up his time, it's like
Yeah.
0.0
Yeah.
minutes.
And
Yeah.
then he just puts up.
Oh,
He doesn't say anything.
yeah. That
But
I think the whole like combine thing was way wild. I think that was the wildest part.
yeah,
Like,
you gotta watch it. Like it's
yeah, you
very
should
I,
watch
easy
I
to
it.
watch.
might turn it on right
I
after
think it's
this.
only an
It's
hour.
only an hour too.
Yeah, I saw it
Yeah.
shortish.
Like I thought it was gonna be. I was actually kind of excited because I turned it on. I think like Saturday night. Didn't really have anything going on towards the end of the night, and I'm like, thought it was like 3 or 4 episodes. It was only one. I was like,
Yeah, I thought it was
that's
a
kind of
miniseries.
right. That's what I
Well,
thought
that
too. So I
whole
was
thing,
kind of
like the
disappointed.
Untold, is it's like
Right.
Okay.
series, like because there's a Jake
Right.
one, two, and then there's
Manti. There was the Manti
the
Teo one I
Manti.
watched.
There's the
Those are all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
Or like what show production, whatever you
yeah.
want to say.
They're
That
pretty
NBA
well
ref
done.
too.
Oh,
Donahue.
Oh,
Donahue.
Donahue. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's cool. Yeah, I mean it is well done for sure. It was. I think I would have liked to see it like go a little bit more after the fact.
I was gonna say I thought it
but-
ended very abruptly.
Yeah,
That was my
it did
old like,
kind of.
he was still on the Browns and I looked and there were like 7 minutes left. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
Yeah.
has to wrap up here pretty soon.
exactly.
Well, that means it's pretty spot on because it's kind of how his season ended.
That is true.
Or his
Right.
career.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I would recommend that to any like sports fans, especially that like
Mhm.
remember him, because it was
Mhm.
cool to like go back and see that, because I
Mhm.
haven't like thought about him like
I mean,
for a long
even to this
time.
day, if you say Johnny Manziel, well, I know that just came out, but if you said Johnny Manziel, like any sports fan, they'll know exactly what you're talking
yeah.
about. Like
Yeah.
if you say like Jamarcus Russell or something, like
Right.
people, like there's a lot of people like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
People could easily forget Jamarcus Russell, but I was thinking about that too. Like I feel like we all liked, in high school, they were really big, like 30 for
Yeah.
30s. And it was like you watch someone like Reggie, and it's like
Uh-oh.
Ian
Good
from
times.
Indiana. Like we remember Reggie like in his later years, but like, you watch like Bo Jackson and he's like a folk hero basically. And like, cause you
Yeah.
never watched him live, but like now the documentaries are on guys that it's like, yeah, I remember watching him. And like, it'll be cool someday to like tell our kids about like, yeah, I can actually remember what it was like when this person played, like how our parents would tell us. So that's how
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel was. I'm like, I can actually remember how nuts that was. Like that was literally like must see TV. Like when he was running around against Bama, like
Yeah.
they talked about in the show, like they literally gave them a 0% chance. Like he went into Bama and beat them. Like that was, and they
Yeah.
had Mike Evans on that team, which they didn't talk about really in the documentary.
Mhm.
They talked about his pro day, which I actually remember that too. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts. We were all on spring break together. I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was good from that angle. But yeah, it was obviously pretty sad at points too.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait for like 20 years when we're still telling our kids that like Michael Jordan was the best of all time. They're like, no, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
Dad, it's
Uh,
Russell Westbrook. It's like, no,
no.
I saw him. I saw him play
Yeah.
too. Um,
They might say
but
Coach
yeah.
Jackson Davis, but
Oh, I
I'll
like
let that
that.
slide.
I like that. I like that a
Yeah, I'm
lot.
cool with that.
Uh,
But yeah, that's really all I knew that I've been watching. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. And then yeah, I'm gonna get back in the winning time for sure.
mhm,
And yeah, see that through. But that's
mhm.
about it.
Yeah, I might
Uh,
flip on that second episode of Waiting Time right now. Now that we're talking
yeah,
about it.
I think I might join you guys on that too. Well, I might
There
watch
you go.
Johnny first, but get
Mm,
also start the watch.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think of Winning Time, or we can talk about it next week if you want.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I'll get caught
by
up.
that point, if we record next week, season or episode 3 should be out. So
Yeah.
if we want, we could talk about the first couple episodes and not have spoilers for people.
Yeah,
Works for me.
cool.
Cool.
So yeah,
Like a plan?
we'll talk about that next week, and then also The Jerk
Yep.
on Netflix. I think you said, Tom.
Yep. Netflix.
So yeah, watch that, and then yeah, we have 2000, the year 2000 for top Billboard hits. So listen along there as well, and yeah, we'll go into that. So yeah, I think that does it for this week. So follow along, keep following along. Let us know who won the draft, and yeah, we'll talk about that next time too. But otherwise, I think that does it. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you next week. Thanks for tuning in.